All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 756 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And I am waiting to talk about some Georgia Southern stuff. I got my Georgia Southern gear on. Hopefully some Georgia Southern news come up. But, well, for right now, it's still all Falcons. It's been all Falcons pretty much all month. Not much going on with Georgia Southern. I know signing day is going to be coming up this week, so we probably talk about that as well. But right now, press conference is going to be going today. I think it's today or tomorrow, but whatever the case may be, my expectations for the 2024 Atlanta Falcons press conference where Raheem Morris talks about him being the new head coach, and you got Terry Fontenot. I'm pretty sure he's going to say some things as well. So I am definitely going to be tuned into that. I want to know what these guys are talking about, where they're going to go with this team, and how it's going to look like just off the surface, because you're not going to know everything until free agency starts and the draft starts. You kind of get a makeup, but I want to hear from their mouths. I want to hear what they got to say. So definitely going to talk about that today. If this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Apple and Spotify. If you're listening to this on Apple and YouTube, that's the audio side. If you want to watch the show, it is on Spotify and Rumble. You can watch the show on those avenues, and I really appreciate it if you're going to come through and enjoy the show. I appreciate you for the support. If you want to follow me on X, is at VF Baller. The website, if you want to check all the podcast stuff out, is firstandframerates.com. Also, if you want to support the show, CashApp and PayPal links are below. All right, Raheem Morris has been hired as the new head coach of the Falcons. Terry Fontenot, we haven't heard much about him since the whole situation of Arthur Smith being terminated. But now we're going to get to hear from these guys. Preferably, I want to hear from Terry Fontenot before I want to hear from Raheem Morris. I think Raheem Morris is the big ticket or the big the big set of info that we want to hear. I don't necessarily want to hear that first, but more likely we probably will, because that is the big story. So I really want to hear from Terry Fontenot first. I want to know what he has to say about all this going on, because he's been very quiet. But nevertheless, we're going to hear from both of them in some form or fashion, whether it be on a press conference. They're probably going to be on the local radio stations, so you can hear about that as well. So they're going to be pretty much vocal about where this team is going. What are my expectations? First and foremost, I want to hear them talk about what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. I'm almost certain that Desmond Ridder is not the future. I feel in my gut it's not, but in the back of my mind, Falcons are going to Falcons, what people say, and it could be a possibility to where they may say, hey, we may do this one more year with Desmond Ridder. The stakes are too high. The draft pick is too high. And even if they don't move up, they still could get a quarterback that is more than capable of leading this franchise. So with that being said, they need to go aggressive at quarterback. And that's what I expect them to do overall. I want them to say, look, we're either going to trade to get a quarterback or we're going to trade up to get a rookie quarterback. Anything outside of those two things are not going to work. I know I've been talking a lot about quarterback this, quarterback that. Should we get Davis Mills? Should we get should we give Desmond Ridder another chance? I was just saying that because I want you guys to understand that that is a possibility. Regardless of what people may think, it could be unpopular. I know it is, but that could be a possibility. But what I want personally, I want to see these guys move up to get Caleb Williams. I want to see these guys, move up to try to get Jaden Daniels. I'm okay if they trade for Justin Fields. I'm all right with the whole situation with Russell Wilson. I'm hearing that as well. And Kirk Cousins is a little expensive, but hey. If they get them, I'll be all right with it. But those are the things that I want to see. I want them to, first and foremost, because there's nothing else not really wrong with this team. This team is okay. This team is good. This team could win a division and possibly win a couple of playoff games. Y'all got to understand that. These teams, like you look at the team like the Lions, you look at the team like what's the Texans, you see the Buccaneers. These guys won playoff games, with the team they had. And you can't tell me that this team was that far off away from those teams. Desmond Ridder made our team look worse than what it was. You got to understand, when a quarterback doesn't play well, it's a trickle-down effect. I don't care what anybody says. These other players can sit there and be professional and say whatever the case may be. But when they see their quarterback turn the ball over and some of the wickedness or in some of the wicked ways possible, in some of the craziest ways, the team play is not going to be up to snuff because they know, hey, we might have to go out there and try to clean up somebody's mess. You need to get a quarterback that don't do that. So with that being said, this is the first thing that they need to address. Outside of that, what are they going to do with the pass rush? What are they going to do with the secondary? AJ Terrell's, his contract is coming up. What are they going to do with wide receiver number 2? Those things I can see them possibly going into free agency for the wide receiver. Unless if there's a guy in the draft that they could pick up. And there's a couple of guys there in the second round that they easily could snatch up if they don't trade that away, or if we get that second round pick from the Jaguars for the whole Calvin Ridley situation. We can get maybe one, maybe 2 good receivers to go along with Drake London, and you get a quarterback here that can get the ball to these guys along with Kyle Pitts. You're going to have a dynamic offense. I haven't even talked about the running backs. So you're going to have a dynamic offense. So it's not much to fix here. So the main thing, my expectation is off the rip. What are you going to do with the quarterback? What are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with the quarterback position? Because, like I said, it is undoubtedly the problem with the Falcons. Undoubtedly. Taylor Heineke tried. Desmond Ridder came back on and off the bench. You see what happened there. He threw an interception when we played against the Saints. I mean, you just know, you just see what's going on here. So, also, I want to see what type of energy that Raheem Morris is going to bring. Raheem Morris, everybody raves about him. Everybody say that he has this energy, this fire. Does he still have it from the time he was here before? Can he bring that back to the table and ignite what we have in this locker room? Because we got some dogs in the locker room. We got some guys that are ready to go. We got some guys who can really make a difference on this team or make a difference in this entire division. There's only like 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 plays that really could turn the tide of this entire division for us to run away with the division. You understand? Certain turnovers, certain plays that we could have made could have really turned the tide of this division for us to be the winners in the division. Do this coach bring that aspect, or do he bring that energy for these other guys to feel like, hey, we can make it happen. We can do it as well. I have no doubt in my mind it can happen. Raheem Morris, a lot of people talk big about Raheem Morris, and they love what he brings to the table. You're hearing so much about everybody. Hearing so much from everybody raving about this guy. And, you kind of knew a guy you had back when he was here before. He was kind of thrown into a bad situation. Now he's bringing his staff along with him. And with that being said, how does that gel with Terry Fontenot? Like I said, I want to hear from him first, because there's a lot that has been said or talked about since you saw McKay and Arthur Blank on top, or I'm not on top, or at the desk or at the table during the press conference. You've seen a real big issue with that. And I thought that the Falcons had a really big problem. They had to clean it up. So we need to know what Terry Fontenot is going to say. How does he feel about this new staff? How much he's ready to work? What have they discussed? Because I'm pretty sure they talked about some things. What is he willing to tell us? And does his philosophy, what he had with Arthur Smith, does that bring along with Raheem Morris? Because I think these two guys together, they're going to be really good. With Arthur Smith, I wasn't as fired up as I was with Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot. I felt like they could have got the job done, but I wasn't really fired up. This right here kind of has me fired up. This right here kind of has me saying, like, look, these guys here could make things happen within this organization. I think this is the move that the Falcons needed to take to that next step. Now, what do I mean by next step? Before I get out of here, I will say this. I don't expect the Falcons to do big things right away. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't expect the Falcons to get to the Super Bowl in the second year. I just don't. What Dan Quinn did was absolutely pretty cool, but that was mostly, Kyle Shanahan. Let's be honest. The defense was okay, but Dan Quinn had his defensive his play calling ability was stripped from him. I think with Raheem Morris is he understands what it takes to actually be a successful coaching staff. And he's going to let his OC, and I think he's going to let his defensive coordinator actually run the show with their respective titles. Will he have some say in? I'm pretty sure he will have some say in certain things because, he's been on both sides of the aisle when it comes to offense and defense. But I think he's going to let those guys try to do something. And I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out very well. Terry Fontenot comes in and gets the talent. The guys that we still have good cap space. We still could get a handful of players. We got good spots in the draft. We could do some things. We really can do some things, guys. So I want to hear it from them for the most part. I want to know what these guys are actually putting in place for the Falcons. Do I mean that these guys are going to be like, on top of the mound in the first year? No, I expect them to win a division because I don't think the division is that good. I expect them to possibly win a playoff game at least. I would like for them to win a playoff game, but by year 3, we should be in an NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl by then. We should be in a, because you look at the NFC is not as close as you think it is. The Lions had a pretty good run. Yeah, San Francisco looked good, but you've seen their weaknesses. What are the Eagles? You know what I'm saying? Our arch rival, the Saints, what are they? You in the NFC is like, yeah. So it's kind of wide open. I'm not even going to talk about Dallas. Why? But what are these guys going to put together in the next 2 or 3 years that make us contenders? I'll say it again. I don't expect it year 1, year 2 possibly. Year 3 is on and popping. It's on and popping year 3. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I am really happy to see the direction the Falcons are going in. We don't know anything yet, but I like what they're doing so far. The coaching staff, the coach, Terry Fontenot's about to, we're going to hear from him. Rich McKay is kind of set to the side. It's kind of interesting to see. I really want to know where this is going to go. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. You can subscribe or follow me on, you can join me on Rumble and you can follow me on X at VF Baller. On Rumble is First and Frame Rates. You can also hit the website, firstandframerates.com. And if you want to support the show, CashApp and PayPal links are below. And I'm going to get out of here. All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Monday. And we're going to talk about this press conference when it is live. All right, y'all. Well, once it's live, once it's out, I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.